Hi, so I just want to talk about something real quick. And what I want to talk about is a few dreams that I had this year. These dreams are about earthquakes in Trinidad and Tobago. This first dream that I'm going to share here is not the first dream that I had of an earthquake. At least I think so. It's just the first dream that I'm going to share here on this video. So it's a very short dream. It was the split second right before you wake up. That's literally all I could describe it as. When I had originally gotten the dream, I didn't write it down or anything because I didn't intend to make a video. It's only recently that I wrote it down on a note on the notes app on my phone. So I'll put a screenshot for you to see it and read what I've written down. So take a look at the date when I created this note. I'm going to read it now, but not in the exact words. About a month or two ago, I had this dream. I saw a map of Trinidad only. Parts of the island was split open and it basically formed like a new river from the sea. Imagine you have the dry land, then I would assume a major earthquake happened and it split open the land. I saw it from the southwest of the map, the San Fernando area, not deep south where it's Point Fortin or Icacos. It's the San Fernando area. Just imagine that part of the map. So I'm going to show you a picture of basically what I saw in my dream. Keep in mind that in the dream I only saw the map for about 1 second before I wake up. I just want to mention that the lines that you're going to see were drawn to illustrate where the rivers were. These aren't the exact lines and these aren't the exact places that I saw them. It's just the general area, and I'm not sure how far inland they would stretch. It's just that these are the general areas. So if you look at the San Fernando area, you'd see that I drew in with the red line where I saw the land would crack up, and this is not the exact spot and this is not the exact way that I saw the land cracking. This is all I had gotten from the dream. I didn't got why this had happened, but one could assume that it must be an earthquake. I didn't really notice anywhere else that had cracks. I only saw this area. I'm not stating that this definitely going to happen, and I'm not stating that these are the only cracks that could happen. Jesus Christ could do anything. Alright, that was the first dream. Moving on to the second dream. Take note of the date that I created this. I also won't be reading word for word from this note. I will also include some things that come to my mind when I'm reading this that I did not type in. Tsunami/earthquake dream. I just woke up from a dream where I knew a tsunami was coming. I went home to my parents' house to gather supplies to survive it when earthquakes had happened. I was out with my entire family. I somehow knew that there was a tsunami incoming. I was begging my father to come home to grab the supplies that I had prepared. I, as well as my family, knew that the tsunami was coming and we were going to drive to San Fernando Hill for safety, but I begged my father to come home and grab the supplies. The road that we were taking, I had noticed that there had probably been an earthquake that happened before we reached home, which resulted in part of the land that I was seeing looking like it had caved in or something. It could have possibly been a sinkhole of some sort. The place that I saw where the land was changed, like a sinkhole that happened, there was in the middle of it land that intact. So imagine a reverse donut. The center of the donut there's a hole. Imagine it didn't have a hole in the center of the donut, but all the way around the donut was a hole. On the part that had land, it had like an outhouse, the one from Shrek. And in the dream, this was some sort of marker to me. I remember thinking or hearing or something that where this area was, it was like some fault line or something. Like I mentioned before, in this dream I somehow knew that this wasn't like a normal earthquake. Something was going to happen as a result of this earthquake. In this case, it was the tsunami. While looking at the outhouse, I was explaining to them that the earthquake was going to originate from the land itself, the land of Trinidad. It wasn't going to originate like in the sea where usually you would find earthquakes that are affecting Trinidad. They happen in the sea, not really like in the land itself, like under the land. So I said to them, you know what happens when a mega earthquake hits the land and not the sea? Devastating things happens to the land, meaning that the land is going to be destroyed. Physical changes to the land. So I'm not sure when this part of the dream happened, but I think it's when I came home. I saw these white girls. Two of them were being rude to me. It's like they was my age but bigger in size. I don't know what we was arguing about, but we was in a disagreement. There was this one tall girl who was like their bodyguard. She wasn't paying attention really to them. She was like sitting down in a school desk writing something, like doing her own work, but she was friends with them. I was afraid of her. This tall girl was definitely bigger in size than me. She got up from her desk and she came towards me. I thought she was going to like hit me or something for being rude to she friend. friend. When she come up to me, she bent over while standing, the same way a parent would bend down to talk to his or her child. She didn't talk to me, but I was talking to she. I was persuading her to come with me so that she could be safe. I guess me and the other girls were arguing about whether or not the tsunami was coming. I ended up persuading the tall girl, who didn't say a word but just listened to me. I told her that she could be free from something. I remember the time she could be free from all of this. I assumed that it could be that the other girls was bullying she into doing stuff. I don't know. The dream shifted scene. I'm not sure when this part of the dream happened. I assume it was the tall girl that came with me because logic says that it has to be her, it cannot be the other white girls. I remember seeing the girl in the gallery with her purse. She was standing on the floor right by the top step and could see sky from the gallery. Place looked dark. It was nighttime. When I come into the house, the first thing that I did was go to the kitchen, and in the mini toaster oven it have like a kind of grill part, and under that grill part it have like a tray to collect all the things that fall off from the grill. And that was the first thing that I grabbed, to survive with. When I think about it, you could put that over a fire, you could cook with the tray, you could use the grill part to cook whatever on the fire. Previously in the dream, I was out with my parents. I knew that they must have had to come home with me. So I assumed that they're in the house with me, trying to take up the supplies. I specifically remember seeing my father in the house though. In the beginning, when I was begging him to come home to grab the supplies, he had a panic look on his face, like, should we go home? Should we risk this and go home to get supplies, or should we just go to the hill or something? During this point in time where I seen him in the house, still had like a panic look, like, we need to hurry, like, we need to go. Sometime after this part, there was an earthquake that happened while we was in the house gathering supplies. I don't know how strong it was. I just know that earthquake had happened. It's so funny because in the dream I could feel the sensation of there being an earthquake, but I couldn't tell how strong it was. But I knew that it was definitely noticeable. Me being me, for some reason I just decided that I need to record this. While it was happening is when I began to record, because I didn't know it was going to happen before. Then when it stopped, I stopped recording. At some point in time after the earthquake had happened, I remember going into the front porch. I remember looking up at the roof, and I could see that the two front edges that sticking out, that extending out from the house, had fallen down, right? It was touching the yard, while the two back end that was connected to the house, it was still connected to the roof. So just imagine a normal shed. You have 4 poles propping it up. Imagine that 2 of the poles fall down and it's basically like slanted. That's basically how it was. Realistically, that's impossible. Our roof is not that long from the front porch to touch the yard. If it touching the yard, then it would have to completely break off, unless part of the roof get loose and it slide down. I'm not sure. The way that the roof was in the dream, it completely covered my view of the road, the yard, the houses that are in front this house. I remember going back inside the house and we were still trying to grab supplies. I guess we stayed back because I telling people we still have time or something. I can't remember much from this time in the dream. But another earthquake had happened. It didn't feel overly strong. It was just like the last one. I couldn't tell what magnitude it was. Just know that an earthquake had happened and I felt some sensation in the dream that let me know it was an earthquake. For some reason, I gone to try to record again. While I was trying to record, I couldn't find the record option on my phone. I have an iPhone and it was like swipe to portrait. Well, it wasn't portrait, it was swipe to the other side, and it was giving me options that aren't actually there on the phone. By the time I had actually gotten the option to record, the earthquake had stopped. While this second earthquake was happening, in my mind, in the dream, I was telling myself, this is the one. This is the earthquake that's going to send the tsunami. Now in reality, this has happened to me a lot. I just be questioning myself, is this God talking? Or is it the enemy? In the past, I thought God was talking when he wasn't talking. I just struggled with discernment. So in the dream, I was struggling. I didn't know if this was God talking to me or not, but I'm going to take it that yes, it was he talking to me. And no, he did not use his own voice. He was using my own voice in my mind to speak to me. While this was happening, I was at the dining table. I don't know if it was a mini mirror or if I was just on my phone trying to record and I was on selfie camera. But I remember like seeing myself somehow. Also, while this was happening, I was more to the right hand side of the table of where I normally sit the white girl was with me. At this point in time, it was only me and she in the house. Everybody else, they probably gone down in the car to wait for me or something. I don't know. I only remember me and the white girl in the house, and she was to my left where the seat would usually be. She was with me for some reason. I was getting ready to leave. I think I had stuff in my hand. I gone in the front porch. I don't know if I had on slippers or what, but I remember wanting to get a shoe. I only have two shoes that I always use. They are black Vans. I have an old one and I have a new one. And I specifically remember wanting my old one. For some reason, there wasn't in the shoe stand in the gallery where there's normally be. The only other place that there would have been is the room that's in the front of the house. So this is probably the point in time where I turned around, and I remember seeing the white girl standing at the top of the step with her purse. She was about to go down and leave, I guess. I went back into the house to grab the shoe. There was nobody in the house. I don't know if the white girl followed me back in the house, and I don't know if she was behind. I just know that when I walk in the house, nobody was there. So as I'm making my way to go to the front room, I have to pass through a part of the house that have no light on, right? It does have light in reality, right? But you had to switch it on, and for some reason it wasn't on. So as I was walking towards it, I took out my phone and put the flashlight on my phone. I was a bit scared when I was approaching that area. I went into the darkness with the light on my phone, although the light on my phone didn't really do anything. I just remember going into the darkness and the dream ended there. So just mentioning that I have no idea who that white girl was or the other white girls. I don't know them, and I could not recognize them. At some point in the dream, I think is when I was in the kitchen, I wanted to tell somebody to make sure and grab the cutlass. Also don't know where I was before when I was out with my family. So that marks the end of that dream. So moving on to this third dream that I had of an earthquake. In reality, it happened before I got the previous dream that I talk about. The only reason I put in this dream in third place is because I did not write it down. I only noted in this note that I was writing down in the second dream. So in this dream, I was by my uncle's house. I was in my grandaunt's room. I don't remember there being an earthquake. Like in the previous dream where I actually felt something, I don't remember feeling anything in this dream, but I just know that an earthquake had to happen. I remember everybody was leaving the house. The dream kind of switched scenes for a second, and I could see like electricity poles collapse. One electricity pole. So everybody leaving the house, and I was the only one there. And for some reason, I just stayed back to grab something in my grandaunt's room, and I don't know where it was. I can't remember. And the dream ended there. This is now two dreams that I've had where I stayed back to grab something. And I think that I just going to start to prepare to go back. Just pack survival supplies, like things you think you would need to survive, like maybe canned food, plasters, a first aid kit, clothes, seeds, whatever else you think that could help you to survive. Anyways, people, these are my earthquake dreams that I could remember. If y'all have any earthquake dreams that resulted in a tsunami for Trinidad and Tobago, or if you just had an earthquake dream, why not comment it below? I don't know if you make it to this far into the video. Feel free to comment, and thank you for your time. In these ways, people, Jesus bless.